Folks, I hope you're well. Happy Sunday. It's very strange doing a late night grin show on Sunday. There legitimately have been like one of these through history, two maybe. I think one because it was just a WrestleMania review. I'm going to explain this format more, talk about what we're going to be doing here every Sunday, hopefully. Well, most Sundays, not next Sunday specifically, but most Sundays. I am aware though that as I talk to you on Twitch right now, no one is here because I'm early. But I should probably try and keep this entertaining based on the fact that people are going to be watching this on YouTube at some point, and they will care very little about who is and isn't there on Twitch in real time. So, it is Sunday, June 12th. A link has been tweeted. Hopefully, some pals will be filing in here shortly. We have a lot to discuss. This is going to be the kind of new resident AEW show here on the Grin platform, the kind of Fed Dead redemption on the AEW side of things. Hopefully, at some point, I'll have guests to kind of keep it different from the Grin itself, for those of you that are behind the paywall. But I think you guys know I'm pretty cool with just coming on and talking solo. So that's what we're doing this time for the first one. If you are in the chat, please tell me so I know that some people are here. And yeah, because StreamYard takes a very long time to update. Yes, indeed, Anthony. Very early. Very early. It's a Sunday. I see pretty immediate insert of the famed Fleet Fuck chow. We've got Small House. Happy Sunday. All right, there are some people here. Let's kind of explain what we're going to be doing here. So, I am of the belief that while it was an important thing in getting this platform moving in the right direction, and while it is something that I took as a personal challenge to make interesting and at times succeeded, more often times failed, I think we have probably explored the preview review format now thoroughly enough for a lifetime. I enjoyed doing it for Dynamite, but my conclusion coming out of it was one that I kind of felt before, which was I just don't know if any wrestling product is built to be discussed in the way that we are all in wrestling media, I think, guilty of doing with AEW. That's not a critique. That's not a praise. That's a commentary on professional wrestling as a whole. It had been, somewhat exhausting for me to just talk about things in that kind of detail. So here's what we're going to be doing moving forward. Some of you will know this because you watch Late Night Grin on Friday, but just to explain as kind of succinctly as I can, because I am told that I could be slightly long-winded. Luckily, I do many hour-long solo podcasts. Good remedy for that. So, here's the deal. The Burt, which is the 10 a.m. show, 10 a.m. Eastern, that a lot of you guys have probably come used to on the Dynamite days, is now a paywall thing from Tuesday through Friday. Now, if you're on latenightgrin.com, nothing changes for you. You just get more content, which, you sign up for just $1. If you'd like to, please do. If you are watching on Twitch or YouTube and are not a patron and you are thinking, why the hell is Joe talking to me about schedule? Here's what you need to know, all right? There will be some Wednesdays where Dynamite is fun, and in a kind of community fashion, I think we should hang out after Dynamite. It may often just be me. But if Dynamite's fun and everyone's excited, I'll just hop on live and we'll just talk. It'll be very loose. Okay? That is something that will be on the Twitch platform. There will be other free shows that pop up, and there'll be different stuff we do to try and keep it different. But generally, for you that are watching via Twitch or YouTube, less Dynamite preview, Dynamite review, and instead, every Sunday, we're going to just talk broad strokes AEW, which is, in my view, and I was blessed to experience this with the distraction on Fightful, that is kind of what I think wrestling conversation works best as, broad strokes, in terms of what are the big ideas of the week. Let's talk about them. Let's explore them. Let's have some, somewhat interesting analysis if possible. That's what I want to get back to doing with AEW. So this is the first one of those. This is Fleet Week. It'll be every Sunday, except for next Sunday because I'm on holiday, before we get started a little bit early. And I'll look at the week of AEW programming and kind of talk big picture, good, bad, in between, so on and so forth. Stuff that actually interests me. Oh my goodness. Hang on a second, folks. We may have a guest on this very program before we even could have imagined it. Hold on. Let me do this here. I promise I'm trying to be a pro. I've been caught off guard by a message from the famed late night grin. Late night grin Hall of Fame. Distraction Hall of Fame. Okay. You may be having a guest here soon. This is fair. Look, people want AEW content. Nothing wrong with that, but it's just, is what it is. Oh my God.
What are you doing, buddy? What are you doing? What's this? What you got going on here?
Well, so I was just explaining this.
What are you doing?
I can't do the Dynamite preview review the way we were doing it before, man. I can't do it. I mean, you've been watching AEW.
What's the problem?
It's exhausting, man. It's a good show, man, but I can't talk about it in that detail. So what we're going to do now, Sunday evenings, we're going to just talk AEW kind of broadly. So if you'd like to join me, obviously you're welcome. Jack, how are you, pal?
I'm good. Now listen, if I can't guarantee anything. If I have to pop her, I'm working today. Yes. It's my weekend to work. So I'm just watching some golf. We're doing some golf. There's not Saudi stuff. Saudi stuff's over. But
yes, that's quite the story. I've seen some of that.
Buddy, what a week I had at work. That's why you didn't hear it. That's why the text messages usually get a lot of them. I didn't really talk to anyone this week. That shit is wild, man.
Mm-hmm.
A little different from like the deal WWE has with the Saudis, but this one, it's not a shit on pro wrestling, but when you involve real sports like this, it
different kind of money.
It gets a little more tense. It's wild though. It's friggin' wild though, man. Like guy won a tournament yesterday. He won $4 million. Yeah, it was a $4 million payout just for the winner. And the guy who won yesterday, his total payout the last 3 years was like $3.7 million. Now that's over the last 3 years. And just yesterday for winning that 3-round tournament, he banked $4 million.
Yeah, it's a little bit different pro wrestling.
It's friggin', it's insane, dude. So what's going on? What do we got here?
This is going to kind of be the big AEW topics of the week. So I've got some here noted, and we can just kind of go through them loosely. Firstly, did you like Dynamite this week? It was very polarizing. Very, very polarizing. What did you think?
I thought it was all right. I thought it was a pretty entertaining show. I didn't get to watch Rampage, by the way. Just a heads up. I didn't.
That's cool. We'll do some Dynamite talk, and then we'll kind of put a bow on it. So the Battle Royale was the big topic of the week for kind of where they were going, and it was very, very interesting to see the range of options on the table. There was a lot of good talent in the Battle Royal. Let's get straight to it. Where were you at on the choice of Kyle O'Reilly?
How do I put this? I didn't mind the choice of Kyle, but I think the Battle Royal was a bad way to get there.
Yeah, I do too.
But at the same time, and not like licking the AEW boot or anything like that, but like Punk's injury and everything, like this all was put together really quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Like they had to scramble and adjust on the fly. So of course they just said, "Oh well, all right, Battle Royal," not knowing that. Well, all right, then. But there's a bunch of big names that we can't stick in that Battle Royal for one reason or another.
Yes.
So,
and that was the concern, I think, right?
Because did I like the bet? No, I didn't. I said no, I don't like that. This is a bad idea.
Do you like the format itself, the casino deal? Because I think I've hit a point where I'm like,
I'll be honest with you. I wouldn't care. I understand people would cry if they just like completely ripped off the Royal Rumble format. And we're just like, yeah, man. Like, but it's a legendary figure came up with it. Pat Patterson. We're stealing his idea. But no, like the suits. I don't, because the problem is now that we're how many battle royals? 3 years into these battle royals, everyone's waiting for the Joker anyway. They don't give a shit who these.
I know it's strange. I think the casino ladder match is actually quite cool. But the casino battle coming in fives and like the way the camera has to cut from entrance to ring. It's tough, man. I just don't think it works. And I rewatched this show, and like the Battle Royal was fine. In real time, I didn't like it at all. It was fine. We'll talk about O'Reilly more in a second. A couple of things though from within. We'll get to Hager and Kingston. I know you didn't see the match, but obviously they settled that deal. I'll talk about that later. It appears Swerve may have actually turned on Wednesday. That was strange, right? What do you think? Where are you going on this? Is this a real turn or not?
If it is, I think it's a mistake.
A little soon?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Again, like, look. Oh my God, I got a text from Bob O'Neill. What is this? What is it? Oh, yeah, I'll answer Bobby in a bit.
Yeah, football text, golf text.
No. Our baseball teams are playing each other, and it's not going well for Bobo.
Baseball talk. What is this?
I'm sorry. What you? I'm sorry. What you?
That Swerve potentially actually turning on Wednesday.
No, but what I was going to say though is like, I mean, in the same week that people I saw are bitching about what WWE did with Edge's stable, which while I think that's a good idea for them, like I think Fergal should be leading a heel stable. I mean, that's how the guy made his friggin' popularity, for Christ's sake. But like when we found out the backstage reasoning behind it and such, like, all right, well, we have to switch this WWE is notorious for what? Imploding things too soon.
Mm-hmm.
This would be a WWE mistake.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Breaking these two up right now, because you and I just talked a few weeks ago. I said it was a good idea to put them together because right now there's really no clear-cut direction for either guy in any sort of prominent singles role. Yeah. Swerve nor Keith. So for the time being, until an opportunity opens up, keep them together. Mm-hmm. Nothing has changed since you and I had that conversation a couple weeks ago.
I agree. I think this is a case of I like the kind of the destination, but they've really taken a big time shortcut. I think Swerve as a heel is the way eventually, but I mean 6 months after these two have been a real team, and I hope they had some depth to this. It didn't pack much of a punch, I think, in the middle of a battle royal. I mean, it was well executed. Swerve's great at kind of turning the screws in terms of a personality, but it just, I don't know, man. It didn't feel like the right time for that time to turn.
That's another thing. It was the timing of it too. It was like in the middle. If in the middle, I don't like. I can't.
It was pretty early. Yeah,
it should have been at the end.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean,
yeah, and like you kind of wondering if you were going to do a turn, maybe you should have just won the battle royal and been a real dick against Mox and kind of
look. If again, now Tony Khan is a guy who is one of the reasons that he's beloved is because he's in tune with the wrestling fans. Mm-hmm. We know that this is Moxley Tanahashi. We know this. We know where the end. And like we said before, predictable in pro wrestling, 9 times out of 10 is good. Like it's okay that we know it's Moxley Tanahashi. So take a guy like Swerve and put him in that match against Moxley.
I agree. I want to talk about Kyle O'Reilly kind of as a, and you actually said a couple weeks ago you think he's a future world champ, and I kind of dismissed it. And it's
still believe it.
Well, since you said that, he's beat Darby and wrestled Moxley. So, I mean, fair.
I will text you. I saved it in my friggin'. It was. Did you ever see the PWG clip where he made a surprise return? And I understand Rosita, but where he made the surprise return to beat the shit out of Adam Cole and the Bucks.
Yes.
That place went banana.
That was a fun time.
Absolute banana. Kyle O'Reilly. I'm telling you, Joe. And Kyle O'Reilly can get the AEW audience to do the same exact thing one day. I'm telling you.
It'll be interesting. We'll see. I want to get to that here shortly. So Swerve, I want to see how they do it. I'm all for him as a heel, a top heel at that. I wanted to see more of them as a team. They were a hell of a team. So we'll see. One more thing before we get to the result itself. Andrade really feels like if he was coming back as the Joker, he should have been winning this thing, Jack. Am I being too much of a too picky in that regard? Like, you don't bring him back to have him lose, do you?
I mean, I don't. How do I put? I guess I was like everybody else when they said Casino Battle Royal. Yeah, again, your brain automatically goes to okay, who's the Joker, and then which in turn means okay, who's the new person. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I'll admit you can chastise me if you want, but when Andrade walked out, I went, Yeah,
it's tough. I get it.
All right. It's just
in their defense, it was very loosely promoted, right? In fairness, so you know.
And plus usually they push. Who do you think the Joker is? You know, and
exactly.
They never really did anything like that. But even still, like they've conditioned our brains to go there. Yeah, man, I don't know what's it like Andrade. We keep saying it, but shit or get off the pot, man. Like
it's been a year now, Jack. A year and
like I am seriously close to saying like if WWE came to this guy and said, all right, man, look, and let's try this again. Yeah. If he went okay, I'd be like, all right, I understand why you're going back.
Do you think his booking here suggests that there is internal confidence that this tag team with Roosh could be a real thing that kind of sticks and elevates him? Because I know you're a big fan of Roosh. What do you think of them as an actual team rather than just kind of two singles guys?
Well, if Roosh isn't under contract, how confident can you be?
Yeah, That's fair.
That's smart on Tony's part, because anyone who knows
Definitely.
versus history. Wait, as soon as the second I saw that he said he's on a per appearance deal and not a contract, I said, good idea. Just give it a try now, because he doesn't have the best track record.
No, certainly not. It's always difficult, and we were just talking about Keith and Swerve. With this many tag teams, it is difficult to see where each team's going to slot in. It's a matter of timing a lot of the time. I mean, I can't imagine. You just talked about the fact he's not under contract. With Rush's kind of rep, I can't imagine there's these plans that they're going to be the tag champs in the next couple of months. But maybe there's these big plans. I don't know.
No,
we need to try to get rolling.
I think I owe you a small apology, because I think the Hardys are going to be the tag team champions. You're right. You were right. I'll give you. I owe you an apology. You were right. I think it's pretty crystal clear the Hardys are going to be the next tag team champs.
I'm not certain of it. I do think there's a chance they go back to the Bucks. I think that's a real thing. But it does feel like they're gonna. Yeah, I think there's a real chance that's where they're going. Which, I mean, I don't know how I feel, honestly.
Look, this morning, last night, whatever you want to call it, wherever you live, I mean, Cobb and Okan won the IWGP.
Yes, right.
To me, that signaled that at Forbidden Door, I think FTR is adding to their collection.
I think, yes. But the thing that's interesting about that is, so after they won the belts, Rocky Romero came out and they beat Rocky up again. It seems like they're keeping Roppongi Vice in this picture so that once there's a team that can get pinned, to me. Because this is the thing with Forbidden Door, man. People need to be ready for this. This shit is so political. There's so much maneuvering about who's going to get pinned and who can do this. And it feels like Rocky and Trent are in this whole thing just so there's someone to pin at Forbidden Door.
Because to me, the picture paints like this. It paints like FTR winning those IWGP tag belts at Forbidden Door and then going, okay, Mexico, Japan, Ring of Honor, shit, we're only missing one set here.
Yeah, and that's where a Bucks trilogy match makes a lot of sense. Right?
Yes, that's why. Okay, so when you say the Bucks, then yeah, all right, I could just because that's how the picture paints to me, is them going, we're only missing one set of belts now.
Yeah, I agree, and that would be an incredible photo shoot if they have all four. Could you imagine that? That'd be something, wouldn't it?
I think it'd be better than the Kenny deal. I think FTR trying to collect all the belts would be a lot more entertaining than Kenny.
I think part of that is because you and I see the Ring of Honor tag belts as being above the TNA World Title, but that's another conversation for another day. Before we get into Kyle O'Reilly and all that good stuff, I have a super grin that feels Crosby related, ironically. So I'll bring this out here. Riley says, thanks for the super grin. Riley says, the top match is Dominion ruled. Loved Okada, Wyatt, Cole, Tama, Tanahashi, Goto. Where do you think we go for the pay-per-view? I feel like we may get Wyatt, Hangman at Forbidden Door and Okada, Cole now with the New Japan guys winning those two matches. So I don't know if you saw me, and I know you saw the result. Your boy Jay White was something else. Where do you think we're going at Forbidden Door? I think it may be a tag match, honestly. What do you think?
In my travels this week, and I know this could be controversial because I am not opposed to that whole, and I don't know if it was Meltzer who pitched it or just, I'm not opposed to AEW and New Japan for right now doing a flip-flop.
Mm-hmm.
And having Hangman Page be the IWGP heavyweight champion and having Hiroshi Tanahashi be the AEW interim champion. Because the benefit is it's only an interim championship in title. Okay? Yeah, have Tanahashi win that and go back to Japan for a little bit. It's only for a little bit till Punk heals up. I mean, a few months, but look, that'll go by in a blink of an eye. Just for a little bit. Have Hangman walk around with the IWGP title on AEW TV for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not opposed to them doing a flip-flop at Forbidden Door, to be honest with you.
I think it's fun, but would you agree it's less likely now that Jay won today? Feels like Jay would. I don't think Jay's dropping it in 2 weeks, you know?
I think he could. Yeah, I see the comment there. I know it sounds crazy that I'm the one making Jay a transitional sort of a transitional champion. I
get it.
Sounds crazy.
It's fun, yeah. Conceptually, it's fun.
I just think that because the AEW title right now is interim, I think it's a good way, and I also think it's a good way if Hangman's walking around with that title to sort of educate the fan base on the IWGP title and why it's important that even though he just lost to CM Punk, now, I mean, in theory, you would have Hangman Page again walking around as the only world champion on the show. just
Yeah,
a
no,
different company.
Mm-hmm. I think the way New Japan operates, I think it will be a big leap for them to do that kind of thing, because they're so like,
And we don't know what Gato and Tony talk about.
God forbid.
Oh no, I'd love to. That's one of those. It's not a cliche. I would love to be a fly on the wall for those movies.
Yeah,
But
that's fair.
no, Okada Cole. Yeah, because here's one thing I do not want. Yeah, I don't want a multi-man match for the world title matches.
I don't either.
I saw people pitching the IWGP title match being a 3-way, 4-way. I was like, no. Can we just do one-on-one? Like Moxley, Tanahashi for that belt, and then Jay and Hangman and that's it. Leave everybody else out. Just one-on-one.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's in a weird spot for me, Forbidden Door, because I said this to you a couple of weeks ago. I don't really know the best way to build it, and I think their build thus far has kind of shown they're not completely convinced either of what the best way to do this is. I don't know. My guess on Forbidden Door, I think there's 3 options with those guys. They could do a 4-way, which you and I both were out on. We don't want to see that, especially because they're doing one for the All Atlantic title. They don't need to do that. I think they could do Cole and Okada, Hangman and Wyatt, and that could be a thing to do. I could equally see them doing the tag match of Jay and Cole versus the kind of all-star team of Hangman and Okada, which, look, I'm not saying that's really exciting, but I think we both know that's very much in like a New Japan playbook, that kind of match. Like that's very feasible to me. I don't know, man. We're less than 2 weeks. I guess we are exactly 2 weeks away from Forbidden Door, so we should start taking shape.
Well, and plus, I am 100% convinced that this show is the first time we're going to see Kenny Omega. He's going to be there and he's going to make an appearance. Now, he's going to be in front of that crowd in some form. And I don't know what it is, but that's where we're going to see Kenny. Yeah,
I hope so. I think we both kind of get the sense he's going to be a while till he wrestles again, but hopefully we see him because it's been an awful long time, right? At this point, this is true. This seems like it's locked in, right? Danielson, that seems like we can kind of pencil it. Danielson, Zack Sabre Jr. feels like it's happening, which
I don't. There were people I saw, I swear to God, when they were like, oh man, this has to be Bryan Danielson Okada. And I'm like, what?
No, this makes sense. What
hell planet are you living on? Like, this is good. It's going to be ZSJ and Bryan, like, you morons. And sure enough,
a lot of this stuff is like, it's all like kind of matchmake maneuvering. It's like Zack Sabre Jr. is a big enough deal that he can wrestle Danielson.
Yep.
But he's not too big that he can't lose to Danielson, And like, they don't want, let's be honest, they don't want Okada losing to Danielson. Tony don't want Danielson losing to Okada. So you're getting these weird, like, it's, Ospreay, I'm going to kind of get into it a little bit later, but Jake, I'll ask you now, what do you think Ospreay's doing at Forbidden Door? I mean, he wrestled on Rampage, his team lost, which was very funny.
And he won the U.S. title.
He did, yes.
Well, I'd like to see the title defended because, again, here's where things might get tricky. He just won the IWGP United States Championship. New Japan Pro Wrestling is collaborating on this show, which is in the United States. So one would think that the title has to be not just but be defended on there. But I could see him in a tag match.
I don't know if it's aired yet, but he wrestled Homicide on Strong. Ospreay did in Philly. And they had Eddie work the tapings to do commentary for that match only. And I don't know if that was supposed to be setting up something or not. I don't know. So
Eddie Kingston, Will Ospreay, that would get so many people on the internet mad. That would get
it would probably fucking rule.
So many people would get angry.
I think, I don't know if that's the thing with Eddie is I'm not sure he'll be on it. But obviously he lost to Ishii. What was the show? The Capital Collision, right? So,
all fucking Eddie Kingston does, from the time he wakes up in the morning, is tweet about Japanese wrestling. Do you think they're going to leave him off of this show?
I don't know what this show's going to look like, bro. I don't know if it's going to be a lot of tag matches or it's going to be. Do you see what I'm saying? I don't know. I would assume he'll be on it, but like that AEW roster is deep, man. Yeah. Like crazy deep. So I'm not like locked in on anyone. Let me quickly show some love. Mid card at best has followed. Man, don't beat yourself up like that's pretty rough as a name, right? Mid card at best. Could be upper mid card at best or something. Anyway, thanks for following, pal. All right, I want to talk about Kyle O'Reilly. This is a really interesting topic, I think. So, firstly, the Moxley match was fabulous. Great match. Very similar stylistically to the Garcia match Moxley had in the kind of transition from mat wrestling to violence down the stretch. Obviously, it was less blood, so it was less good, but it was very, very good. Are you aware, Jack? Kyle O'Reilly has wrestled on 7 of the last 9 Dynamites.
Fuck yeah. I wasn't aware of that number, but that gets me hype.
Like, I haven't crunched the numbers on this. That feels like a borderline unprecedented run of in-ring. That's like really active for AEW, right? Is this just as simple as Tony Khan is a massive fan? If so, fine. But it feels like he's a huge fan, right?
I think Kyle was well, first I think people are starting to see that Tony Khan was a very big fan of Triple H's NXT.
Yes.
There's no doubt about it. Tony was a very big fan of Triple H's NXT, even though they even went head to head.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, I think he loves Kyle more than most. I think he appreciates Kyle. I mean, look, Tony Khan, the pictures, he's a Ring of Honor dork. Just like us.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's what he is. And Kyle O'Reilly is one of the personifications of that era of Ring of Honor that we Kyle O'Reilly.
Absolutely. It's really interesting because I'm kind of I'm in a weird middle ground with this subject because while I agree and I myself have said that I think Kyle's ceiling is limited somewhat by being like kind of dry.
Yeah.
He is so good in the ring that like he may be worth a shot in this role. Now, there are better options, I think. We need to see how this kind of like ends up, how far they're going to go with this push, so on and so forth. But I will say, and this is a massive credit to Kyle, you go through his matches, singles matches, his performances have got better every single time.
Yeah.
We reviewed the Joe match where he was incredible. That weekend, he topped it with a match against Darby where he looked phenomenal. And then here against Moxley, I thought he was just tremendous. So he's in rhythm. I think one of the stories of this push is, do they need to do this more, Jack, with the kind of giving a guy 2 months where they just wrestle a lot and get in rhythm and get comfortable and feel like they're in form rather than 1 week on, 3 weeks off, which is, let's be honest, kind of common for the top guys at times. What do you think?
It's a good way to, especially since like AEW doesn't have a live event house show circuit.
Yeah.
So if you do have a guy that you want to be invested in, like Kyle O'Reilly, that's your only option. It's just any time I could get him on TV to wrestle for 10, 15 minutes, I got to do it.
Absolutely. And he is a different kind of wrestler too. That's the one thing I will say is there's a lot of great wrestlers in AEW. He does have a distinct flavor with the MMA influence and the way he can throw strikes and the way he wrestles. There's some physicality to that dude that is just for real, you know.
That's like, and look, put your personal bullshit aside. Like Kyle O'Reilly, in the way he appeals to an audience, is in the same vein as Matt Riddle. They're very similar in that, you know, like one of your criticisms of Kyle was he was too goofy. Remember when we were having that talk?
Yeah.
Well, one of the criticisms, you know, Riddle was that, you know, he's a stoner, you know, just bro. But if you really, really watch them, they're really good at flipping that switch to make you forget they're goofy and I'm going to hurt you.
I agree. I think Kyle's biggest challenge is finding a middle ground that can operate as a kind of full-time main eventer. Something that is colourful enough that it entertains people that aren't just going to be popped by the fact he does like cool leg kicks, which pops you and I, but something that's serious enough that he can kind of maintain. Now, I want to give credit. He cut a good promo on Wednesday. One of the better promos I've ever, in terms of being a serious pro wrestler, he did a great job. So he's obviously got it. I just think the challenge for him is like, what's his consistent level in terms of personality? You know, is he going to be a guy who fluctuates back and forth and has that switch, or can we find a middle ground here that he can kind of operate with all the time? That's the key to me. But I will say,
I got you.
I have to, you know, I'm genuinely happy for the guy. He wouldn't be my first choice to elevate.
He seems so comfortable, man.
Yeah, and like, let's be real. He was up next in NXT, and then it became NXT 2.0, and he was kind of like frozen out. It's like, good for him. He's getting a shot here, and I think eventually he's going to hope to get back to Japan. There was a lot of talk when he signed with WWE that like New Japan was saying to him, if you stick around, man, you're going to be like a top guy here. He was closing shows with post-match promos in Japanese and shit. Like he loves working in Japan. So good for Kyle. He's been good enough in these matches that I'm more than happy to give it a shot. And I know you're a fan, so anything else on old Kyle O'Reilly? Anything else?
No, he's such a great talent, man. And I really, it seems like, and he signed a 5-year deal. Like he's like, so like both sides are invested on this.
Mm-hmm.
That this was the right move for him.
Absolutely. Love the Moxley match. If anyone hasn't seen it for some reason watching this, do go check it out. It was tremendous. Moxley is on fire right now, bro.
It's crazy. And I know he should lose to Tanahashi. And he should lose cleanly. I don't know. I think that John has been obviously very, very protected from the moment he stepped in.
Right.
And I think that was a good thing. Mm-hmm. But I think that there has to come a brick wall. And I think that losing to Hiroshi Tanahashi is fine. He's Hiroshi Tanahashi. And then remember I pitched, like, remember I said, like, why aren't they doing these segments with Yuta while he's in Japan? Where they're like, he's like FaceTiming them. They're kind of coaching him. Mm-hmm. I think this would be a good opportunity for the Blackpool Combat Club to kind of rally around John and go, okay, we took a setback. How do you, and then because I think that Moxley and Tanahashi could be one of those pairings that could give us a trilogy.
Yeah, I would agree.
Really get the people invested. In the end, John coming out on top.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's starting a forbidden door. I think Tanahashi should beat him. I'm not joking. I think he should win.
I don't disagree with it being interesting, compelling, and all those things. And I obviously agree that there's no shame in losing to Tanahashi. I just think the product needs Moxley as the kind of safety net right now. I think there's so much. There's a sense of change, man. MJF's not going to be on TV every week for the next stretch. Punk's injured. Hopefully Danielson's good, we assume. I think you need to go to a guy that you can kind of rely on at this point, you know? I mean, Tanahashi's great in his own, but Moxley's a guy I'm comfortable closing and opening shows every week.
Or would Tony take this as an opportunity to really get the TNT title back on track? And if you slap it on Wardlow, would that not, Joe, be a good test run for Wardlow?
It would.
Can you be the top guy?
And with the All-Atlantic title, you have a mid-card title, then it just moves up.
All-Atlantic title. That's my shit, buddy, by the way.
It moves up, right?
That's my shit. My wife could not figure out why I was so excited with that belt. She goes, what the hell? I said, that's my shit right there.
Old head territory shit right there, bro. I want to give a shout out to the Power Sugartooth who met old Confirmed Shoot last night at the Stranger Things event. Signed an 8x10. No, I was told it pop shoot very much, Sugartooth. So thanks, pal. Thanks for watching the show. Thanks for showing love. What are you hearing this craziness, Jack, right? You know, Grinners being approached at events by real human people. They're real, these people in the chat. Did you know that? Incredible. Very exciting. Anyway, John Moxley is quite possibly, I think, actually is the favourite runner for the rest of the year. So, all hail John Moxley. This move forward here. All Atlantic, we were just talking about it. Pac and Buddy Matthews. This was Buddy's first singles match, right? Unless I'm mistaken, in AEW. It was good. I think they can have a better version of this match, but this wasn't the time to have it. They had like 10 minutes and just had a good match. But speak a little bit more on this hilarious, new belt.
First off, I know everybody. It doesn't even fucking make sense when you put the Japanese flag on. This is all Atlantic. It makes no sense. But that's the way our professional wrestling is supposed to be. It's not supposed to make any sense.
That's fair.
Well, there are some things that this shouldn't make sense. Just let it go, man. It's a beautiful looking title. Forget the fact that some of the countries don't line up with the title. Forget it, man. Just let it go. I'm really interested to know where this came from, because when Tony Schiavone said, and I know we just had this argument on the show, when Tony Schiavone said we got a new title, I lost my mind because I said it's his goddamn trios titles. I started kicking stuff in my room. My daughter was crying. She's like, "Daddy, why are you so mad?" I said, "I don't want these fucking trios titles." And then they show the All Atlantic belt. I go, "What the fuck is this?" We had not heard any sort of rumor about it. Yeah. There was nothing indicating they were adding another singles title. Like this came out of thin air. I saw somebody, I think it was in Solid Monsters Facebook group or so. I don't know. It might have been somebody was like, did Warner Media and Discovery ask for this? Because they have a big stronghold on the internet, which is true. Which is true. Like, did they ask for an international? Like, where'd this come from?
I have no idea.
Like, well, of course, the other option is 3 a.m. Tony Khan sitting there
Spun
going,
the globe.
We need another singles title. We're gonna call it the All Atlantic. Slap a Japanese flag on there too.
How many times did they say #1 wrestling show in England, in Great Britain? They said that so many times. It's incredible.
They did say it a lot, and I picked up on it that night too when they were like, "Yeah." No, I was like, "Okay, why are we doing this?"
The best thing about this belt, and this,
but not to cut you off, but do you remember how many years TNA used that?
Oh yeah, they were over big here, man. That was a real thing.
But TNA used to always push that, how big they were.
If you look up their highest attended wrestling events, I think the UK is like 4 of their top 5. It's crazy, man. It was a real thing. But so this was all very funny. I am not a too many belts guy. It doesn't bother me. I will say the Owen thing does bother me because it's not a belt. And it's very frustrating that there's belts that aren't belts and they're just trophies. That's annoying.
I'm not a huge fan of Adam and Britt walking around with those belts.
That annoys me.
Like a belt has to be defended. I don't like that at all. Like, please take them home, put them on your mantle, and
make them trophies, man. It's being belts makes it weird, But that's fine, whatever. I don't mind too many belts. It doesn't bother me. The one thing I will say is objectively funny is that like fans have decided this belt's going to be like defended in other promotions and stuff. And if you watch the video, all they say is just like international wrestlers. Here we go. Like, there's no explanation as to what it is. And everyone on Twitter is like, it's so they can do title matches in New Japan and stuff. It's like, they didn't say that. I mean,
this is going to be, I hate to say this because I love AEW and I don't like bashing it. But in a year from now, no one's going to give a shit about that title. Mark my words. No one's going to give a shit about the All-Atlantic title.
I think if it goes to the right guy, if Miro wins it, he can do some. He's fucking incredible, man. He can pull it off.
I think. I think he's the one who wins it.
I want to get into that. So just because this is the fun part, is like the way they framed the belt was it was representing the international fan, like the world. And it's like that's kind of the idea of the world champ. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Speaking of Miro, though, and Danielson, I just thought that G1 card, boy, what a rib on all of us.
Yeah,
How many times were we sitting here fantasy booking? All the AEW guys are going to be in the G1, especially now it's open, and they were like, Lance Archer.
I felt bad because,
what?
I really like Lance, and the crowd popped, but it was hard not to have the reaction of just like, oh, okay.
When I woke up this morning, that was the first thing I looked at because I went to sleep early. I said, all right. I woke up. I said, all right, let me see. They definitely announced a G1 card. I got to see. I'm scrolling through and I'm going, wait a minute. This is a normal G1 lineup.
I know. Dude, there was one stretch of it where they announced Yujiro, Chase Owens, and Bad Luck Fale one after the other, and I was like, dude, what the fuck is this, man? I always forget how many like bad wrestlers are in that, I always forget.
Maybe it's because the injury bug has kind of bit AEW a little bit, and Tony is kind of like, you know what? Yeah. But let's see what next year brings, guys.
Yeah. Yeah, hopefully. And they still have the clap crowds too, which is crazy. They still have the
and Brian's adamant that he's not going. He wants to go over there badly, but he's not going over there until they can just let go full force. So,
yeah, it's interesting. I had the same response. You happy for Lance though? You got a great reaction. Anyway, All Atlantic business. Pac and Buddy Matthews. They had a very strong match. Again, they can have a better match. It was good to see Buddy in there. Hopefully, Buddy gets kind of that kind of rhythm we were just talking about in terms of singles match. I know they can't do a lot of them because they're a spooky group, but
spooky.
It'd be nice. Indeed. It'd be nice to get a few of these. Pac is always great. Let's talk about the bracket, Jack, right? So Pac is through.
Let me pull it up. I have to get a look at it.
Now, remember, we're going straight through to a 4-way here, so that makes things a little more complicated.
Let me see.
So Pac is in. Miro and Ethan Page, I think we can all agree Miro's going in, right? Miro's beating Ethan Page. Yeah. Malachi and Penta Malachi, right? You'd have to believe.
Hold on, I'm pulling it up right now. Okay.
So we're in the Fatal 4-Way. We assume we're going to have Pac, Miro, Malachi. People seem to think Shingo is going to be the representative for New Japan. That's the belief.
I really think that in front of an AEW audience, I really think Shingo Takagi would be a hit.
I kind of wish he got a big singles match there instead. That's the only thing.
I really think he's going to be a hit, man. They're going to love that.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. I think a lot of the fans already will love him. To be honest, he's over huge with that audience, the hardcore fan.
Yeah.
So, if it is Shingo, it would certainly be interesting if he won this belt, right? And it immediately was different, and there was like an actual international flavor where he defended it on Korakuen Hall shows and stuff, and it was different. If not, who do you think is the favorite right now to win the All Atlantic title here? What do you think?
You know what? I'm actually going to change my pick.
My God. Okay.
Pac.
Yeah.
We thought that by now, and look, I mean, pandemic circumstances. When AEW started, we thought that there were a lot of people who thought Pac was going to be the first AEW champion. Remember, they thought he was going to be the first world champion.
He was a big deal, especially early on. Yeah.
And then I really think that, if the pandemic hadn't happened, I think by now he might have been.
Mm-hmm.
If plans didn't have to get flipped, I think Pac might have held that title or at least come close. I think it's time for him to get a singles title run. I mean, he's so protected, that dude.
Yeah, he's really protected.
It is insane. I was going to say before when his name got brought up, like it's going to be so interesting to look back at this run when it's over, whenever that may be. Because like this dude it's like he owns the place but doesn't.
It's really weird. Like he's been there the whole time, but because of his like schedule and the way he's booked, it feels like he's like a guest.
Which isn't a bad thing.
No, it's fun. He's like an attraction. Yeah.
He gets big pops when he does come back.
Yeah.
He's always entertaining in the ring. People always love to see him wrestle.
Mm-hmm.
So it's actually not a bad thing. But yeah, looking at it now, looking at the names, I think him.
Do you think his schedule could be a factor both for and against? So what I mean by that is if he's going back to England and he's going to wrestle, it could actually have international defenses for this belt.
It's true.
If he doesn't want to wrestle back in England, in which case fair, I wouldn't either. That may make it more difficult. I think Miro is a really interesting candidate in terms of just what he brings to a belt. We saw it when he was the TNT champ. He's really unique as a presence.
But then again, I mean, see, I like the way they did this bracket because would it shock you if Malachi Black earned a singles title at this point?
No, it would not. And I don't know. It's very interesting. I actually am looking forward to. Here's what I hope. If nothing else, when everything's settled down, I hope that I can bank on the fact that each week I'll get either a TNT title or an All Atlantic title match. Give me that much. You got 2 mid-card belts now. Give me a title match every week,
But then again, if this is being defended at Forbidden Door, or not defended, if this being crowned at Forbidden Door, and if Malachi is going to face the New Japan representative, I don't think Malachi's beating the New Japan representative.
Well, the Forbidden Door match is a 4-way.
Oh, they're doing a 4. I completely missed that then.
Yes.
I missed that part of it.
A lot of people did. It's
fine. Don't forget. I'm going to miss some things watching these TV shows because I have a 9-month-old.
Also, because they go 150 miles an hour and.
Well, that too. Oh, okay. So a 4-way. All right, then. All right. Yeah, no, I was looking at it as a bracket where I was going to be like, all right, well, Malachi's not.
See, that makes it because then you don't have to pin Malachi or Miro.
Right.
Or Pac. You could just pick one of them. That makes it interesting. I don't know. It'll be saying. Look, the 4-way match will obviously be really good. I hope it's the only multi-man on the show, but I don't think it will be because.
Come on. You have to stay. You have to stay true to the New Japan traditions. We need at least 10 multi-man matches on this match.
Look, I haven't got a problem with multi-man tags, but when it's like even Shingo, we just talked about it. I think Shingo being in a 4-way is like.
I don't like it. No, because man.
It's
just that guy for the last few years has gotten a lot of things he deserved because he was so good in Dragon Gate, but nobody fucking watched Dragon Gate.
Yeah.
Like he was the face of that place. Then he comes to New Japan and it was like, all right, finally, this guy's going to get to do. And look what happened. He was the IWGP champion within 2.5 years.
It's crazy, man. He got over big. He's a real top guy now. It's crazy.
He's so good.
Yeah. He's tremendous. So Dynamite, that was all the kind of important talking points from Dynamite. It was okay. Right? It was okay. Main event was really good. It was about I'll say this much, and take this as you will. it's about as little as I've had fun with a show that had like 2 like great wrestling matches on it. And Hangman and Finley was really good too. So maybe I was just being, spiteful. I don't know, but it didn't flow. I didn't think, Jay. That was my problem. What do you think of Dynamite overall?
I mean, it was all right. Not their best effort. I mean, I don't know. The whole Forbidden Door thing has kind of muddied the waters here.
It's hard.
I did see somebody say, like, this show is cool, and I'm looking forward to it. But I also can't wait for it to be over so you could just kind of get back to business as usual.
Yeah. I agree. I'm hesitant to kind of...
the highlight of Dynamite was...
Yes.
My wife hasn't seen Will Ospreay legit in about 3 years. Okay. But she knows Will, like, because being women, like, she knows Will, but she hasn't seen him in about 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
He walked out and she goes, "What the fuck is he eating?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "Billy got big, huh?" I said, "Billy got jacked." She was so much in shit. She stared. She's like, "Look at him." And I was like, "Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you. He's put on a few pounds."
Dude, on the green on Friday, Bob decided that his bit was going to be talking about how funny Ospreay's accent is. Like how he doesn't come from like 10 minutes away from me and I sound exactly the same as him. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about, Bobby? Talking shit about the dude's...
Oh my God. But yeah, that was hilarious. My wife was in awe at how big Ospreay got.
He's look, man. If you just like Will Ospreay, I get it. I'm not like a huge fan or anything, but as a wrestler, fuck, that dude's...
Oh, he's
incredible.
He's so good in that ring, man.
Yeah.
I was so pissed that I had to miss his match on Friday, that I couldn't see Rampage. I was so pissed.
It's good. You should catch up on Rampage. Rampage is actually worth catching up on. Like, all 3 matches are good.
Rampage lately has been pretty good, I hear.
It's good. It's just the thing about Rampage, and this is either a feature or a flaw, depending on who you ask. It isn't must see very often. It's just good pro wrestling. If you have time, watch it. If you miss it, I don't think you miss which again I think is kind of on purpose because it's the time slot.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, the time slot's rough, man.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw, but Brandon Thurston did an article about how Rampage could be a really good candidate for a streaming service. And we were kicking around the idea that Rampage, if they did a deal with HBO Max, right? Rather than putting Ring of Honor on HBO Max, Rampage becomes a 2-hour streaming exclusive on HBO Max.
Okay.
Ring of Honor slides in that shitty Friday night slot.
I
think that could be interesting.
I like it.
There you go. You like it.
I like that a lot because then you have Rampage. Then people go watch Rampage. And then, 10 o'clock on Friday nights is a good way to start Ring of Honor out.
Yeah, because if you want to bring wrestling to the streaming service, it makes way more sense to do it with a show like Rampage than Ring of Honor hasn't got a built-in audience right now.
Now, are you
watching it?
Are you going to talk about Rampage? Because I need an opinion on Satnam Singh.
I'm about to do that. I want to quickly answer this about leaving out Tony Storm Thunder Rosa. The beauty of this format is I will let things cook a little. If I had to talk about what they did this week, it would be a somewhat disappointed negative opinion by someone very negative opinion.
So I will
simply just next week, hopefully it'll be better and we can talk about it because that Britt Baker promo.
If you don't have something nice to say, don't say anything.
Bro, that's the rule. I mean, there was a Britt Baker promo on Rampage. I was like, I'm out on this. So anyway, let's talk Rampage here, and I'll start with what you wanted to talk about. I didn't necessarily have this in my notes. Satnam Singh, he did do a running crossbody to both of his opponents, which sounds better than it looked, but he still did it. He did the Big Show chops in the corner where you tell the crowd to be quiet and then you throw the chop, which got a decent reaction. The funniest part of his appearance on Rampage, Jack, was that he held the opponents in position for the lethal injection, which was quite the visual. He just held them there and then sort of stepped backwards when Jay did the. He was okay.
I wanted your honest opinion on him. I might have saw a clip or two, but
I mean,
I wanted your honest opinion.
He was in there for about a minute, It's gonna be tough, man.
You got to fit like these big guys like him, Kali, like guys like that. And look, I'm sure he's miles better than Kali.
Well,
you just you have to find the right spots for them.
This was cool. Post match, he did do like a spinning border toss is a good description for it. It looked somewhat dangerous, but it did look cool. So yeah, he did okay. He didn't have a lot to do, but he did it okay. So good for the big lad. Right, I'm going to do some Rampage. Jack, you want to hang around, or you want to?
No, go ahead.
All right, cool. I don't want to just wait. I'm just sit there listening to me talk about Jake Hager.
Don't worry. You know I'll pop in with an opinion, even though I didn't watch it.
Okay, that works. Now, Jake Hager, I did some research on this. If you exclude the memorable MMA rules match that he had with Wardlow, that we all love very much, this was Jake's first singles match since February 2021, when apparently he squashed Brandon Cutler on Dynamite.
I don't remember that.
When did this? Is this real? This happened apparently at Daly's place. So that happened. A month prior to that, he put Wardlow over at New Year's Smash, I want to say it was. This is his first singles match, so it's been some time. Obviously, he's been kind of active with the multi-man tags. He wrestles like one a month, basically.
Yeah.
Eddie Kingston, of course, Eddie Kingston got like a 3.5-star match out of him because, that's what you do when you're Eddie Kingston. Jack, I swear to you, this match was actually good. Does that surprise you, or are you on board with my take that it's Eddie Kingston, bro? What do you expect? It's what it is.
It's Eddie Kingston, bro. It is what it is.
Dude don't get enough credit, man. He can get a match at just about anyone. He did it with Hager. I will say Hager is in really good shape right now. He's never been incompetent. I think at times he's been unmotivated. He wasn't here. Eddie chopped him very, very hard and made him quite aggressive. So Jake
looks good, right? He's looking cut.
Oh yeah, he looks really good.
So does he? Let me see if he has a fight coming up.
He looks like he's ready to fight one of those casinos.
That's the dead giveaway. I don't see anything, but there's got to be something soon.
Yeah, I think he's a case of like, because I agree with this totally. He was awesome in Anarchy in the Arena, like incredible in it. They use him right, man. Like he's not overexposed. He's kind of just there.
I get why people rag on him, but you're right. If you're looking at overall utilization of Jake since he made that surprise, I think it's been fine. I have no complaints about how they've used Jake Hager.
Shoot often cites and he's right. The only time they overstepped was with the Moxley title match. Remember they had that really long match? That's the only time. And that was that's circumstance. But
right.
I think I think he was good here. Eddie is great. We were talking about on the Grin on Friday, Jack. Like Eddie Kingston is now at a point where him being the world champ doesn't feel like this kind of fairy tale ending. It feels like something that just should happen. He's that over and that good. What do you think? We're going to get Eddie Kingston as world champ at some point, Jack? Is that actually going to happen?
Oh, yeah.
It feels like it is, right?
They're going to put together the perfect story, and he's going to win it.
Yeah.
And the people are going to be so emotionally invested in it. I don't know who he's going to beat. Maybe Mox? Maybe Punk?
Punk would be the one, I think.
I'd probably say Punk.
It's a bit different with Punk now, because if you were going to turn him heel, you have to really delay that, right? Because he's come back from an injury. He's going to be like a hero again. I don't know. It's going to be difficult. But Eddie Kingston was great on Rampage. See who else was great. And this is one of the really kind of remarkable stories that I'm not necessarily sure I get the complete reasoning of, but it's happened and been very organic. Kris Statlander has just blossomed into one of their absolute best workers in the whole women's division. One of the most dynamic performers on the roster, honestly, in terms of the things she can do offensively. Now, Kris has always been exciting, but she was very raw when she first came into the promotion. This was a rematch from, I believe, 3 weeks ago on Rampage. Kris Statlander is just 26. This is only her 5th singles match of the year that went past 5 minutes. So it's not like she's getting a lot of reps. We're in June. She's had 5 singles matches that have gone past 5 minutes. And for some reason, somehow, whatever she's doing is working. She is getting better every single time she gets in that ring.
And I think that's a perfect recipe if you want to shoot her to the moon. It's just everything is coming together at the right time.
She's the one to beat Jade. She has to be the one to beat Jade. Physically, she's the match. She just makes the most sense,
At this point, yeah.
Yeah. Now, there is a lot of talk in the chat, and, this is fair. You're saying you did not watch Rampage in order to avoid apologizing for the Red Velvet slander, correct? Fair? No? Well, she was really good in this match. Red has come a long way. She's doing great as a heel.
You're lying to me.
I'm
Lying.
telling you, bro. Run the tape. Run the
What?
tape.
My TVs are broke. I can't.
Okay.
I have no TV in my house. You're lying to me, though.
Okay. Well, fair. All right. Now, here's the thing, though. Seriously, Statlander she's obviously they've done this character change where she's no longer the alien. She's now like I don't know what she is sincerely because it's kind of they've muddied the waters and it's kind of undercooked. It's a character shift and so on and so forth. As a promo, there's been very little exposure in that regard. But yet, something has happened, especially this year, where she's just got over huge with live crowds. Like crowds are really into Kris Statlander. And I'm not saying this with confusion to understate it. I'm saying this is what's fun about this shit because it's like stuff just happens sometimes, right? Like they haven't really done a lot to make this happen. Crowds have just taken to Kris. It's interesting.
AEW does a lot of things right, but nothing is better. And this is how a professional wrestling promotion is supposed to work, as in watching someone rise to the top.
Yeah.
And Hangman, again, that was Hangman's story was one of the greatest I've ever seen in all my years of watching wrestling.
It was great.
That whole journey was great. And you're seeing something similar with Statlander here.
Mm-hmm.
We knew when she came into the company that she was a blue chipper.
Yes.
There's someone you looked at and you're like, okay, one day. And AEW is very good at getting you to that one day.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, we're reaching the peak.
Absolutely. I want to give some love to Riley, who cheered 100 bits. Thanks, pal. I want to quickly, I actually did a rant about this on the Grin, but Bob sending me tweets with the caption of, oh no, because he was alarmed that Jade Cargill and Alexa Bliss were going to have like a Twitter argument. And I replied to Bob, it's just an app, Bob, don't worry about it. It was one of the better moments of my week last week. I was very happy with it. So I'm not going to talk about Twitter stuff because it's an app and everyone needs to move on. But, it's too much, Jake. I was explaining to the people on the Grin on Friday. Look, Twitter's fun. You and I have a lot of fun on Twitter. You can't base who's a good and bad wrestler based on how good or bad they are at Twitter. Some really good on Twitter folks are terrible at professional wrestling. And vice versa. So you can't do it, right?
And that's a problem with today.
Yeah.
But it's a huge problem.
The kids these days.
Fucking kids these days, man.
Outrageous.
Fucking millennials and shit and baby Gen Zers, whatever you call it. I don't know.
With their fucking quote tweets, pieces of shit.
They get mad. They get into their fucking spaces.
Yeah.
Start crying like little bitches.
It just it's one of those things where like I have fun with it, but it just pops me how serious people take it, Like, oh fuck, my favorite wrestler got owned on Twitter. It's like, who gives a fuck?
People take this shit way too seriously, man. They take this shit way too seriously. It's like it concerns me for like their well-being.
Yeah, me too.
It's like go out. It's not a joke. It's like seriously, go outside.
Touch grass, bro.
Go outside and like go for a walk.
Fair. That's a good take. There you go, folks.
Scenery.
It's early enough too. It's we're doing it's an early show. You can go out for a walk. Anyway, firstly, let me wrap this Rampage review. So Kris Statlander, she's coming along great. I want to just see some kind of development on the promo side. I would still have her beat Jade regardless, but in terms of ceiling, that's what I would do. I'll be looking for anyway. She cut a strong promo before the Ruby Soho match, which is encouraging. The key with Kris is she is really likable and really charismatic. We talked about it with Kyle O'Reilly earlier in a different way. They need to figure out how to tap into her real personality on the wrestling show. I think they've really struggled to do that. So that's my thing. Hopefully they get there, but even if they don't, honestly, she doesn't cut promos at all. Like, she should be the one that beats Jade. So anything else on? I didn't see this particular match, but Kris has been coming along. Any thoughts on that? Just kind of generally.
No, like I said, fun to watch her, and you're right. Like that's who beats Jade. Has to be.
Yeah, because I love Athena, but it's not the role for her. She's to me, Athena's like a player coach, kind of veteran presence. The more than like,
yep.
Kris she's 26 and she's ready to go. So that would be my choice. All right, Rampage main event, Ospreay, his debut. Weird little trend here that I kind of picked up on. Since Trent came back, this is his 8th Rampage match. He has only had 4 on Dynamite in the same time, with 2 of those being tag team battle royals. So he's like, Tony Khan goes to this dude 8 times on Rampage. He's gone to him.
That says something.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know if there's like some sort of weird statistic that backs that, but Trent always works hard. I was happy to see him get the win here. I'm intrigued by why that was, though. Now, you didn't see the match, but you saw the angle. What do you think of this as a way to introduce Ospreay to the AEW fans? Because as good as it was, you haven't seen the match, it was really good, but it's kind of, it doesn't feel too main event, if that makes sense. What do you think?
Will should have been, and I get that's the time, but ideally Will should have been in a one-on-one match.
Yeah.
On Dynamite and winning against somebody. Mm-hmm. Not this. And like this, not for like it. Look, Will Ospreay again, like him or not, love what he says or not. That's not Rampage. This wasn't it.
I tend to agree. Yeah,
wasn't it, man? Yeah, one-on-one match, he's got to win.
I tend to agree. Quickly to point this out because it's important. To be clear, guys, I wasn't trying to retire Athena. All I was getting at was, I believe Athena's been wrestling now for 17 years, maybe 15, so around that range. She had an Achilles injury. Like,
yeah, you can't always look at someone's age. Like some of these men and women start wrestling when they're like fucking 15.
Right. And like she's obviously got a long way to go. I'm just talking generally, right? Kris is someone that you can kind of, she's more long term than Athena. That's all. But
plus, when you provide context to it, like there's still a lot of people in AEW new to television. How long was Athena in WWE?
Right. Yeah.
She has the television experience.
Yeah, it just feels like she's going to be relevant regardless. You don't have to worry about her being the one that beats Jade. It feels like a mistake, but that's just me. Now, I am intrigued. I'm assuming Trent and Ospreay isn't the match for Forbidden Door, right? I assume, like, because Trent winning here is kind of puzzling in some ways.
I hope not.
Yeah, I don't know. I was happy for him. I just felt weird. I couldn't put my finger on that. I don't know. But the match was really good. FTR remains super over. I hope we get them kind of rolling again. They've kind of taken a half step back, but I think you're right. They've got big months ahead.
I really think they're winning the IWGP tag titles at Forbidden Door, and they're just gonna. Yeah, you're like they're gonna be walking around like Ultimate Dragon, both of them.
It's gonna fucking rule. Tremendous. Yeah, that would be a great visual, and they'll make the most of that too. So hopefully that's the case. This is the thing. The reason I mentioned Trent is because I do know, like, the New Japan office sees him as, like, they really do admire him as a professional wrestler. That feels like a good match for TV, right? Ospreay and Trent, rather than
not a pay-per-view.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like a dream match kind
of
thing.
Not a pay-per-view people have been waiting years for.
I agree, which is something that's kind of concerning me about the whole thing. To be
honest. If this were like the 5th or 6th year of Forbidden Door,
then
okay,
right.
But no, the first one, and people have been waiting so long for this. No, you can't do that.
Yeah, I tend to agree. So yeah, just a few more. I mean, Aussie Open are a hell of a team.
Mm-hmm. They're good.
Really, really good. Happy to see them on TV in this kind of spot. Even though Rampage isn't Dynamite, it's still a hell of a spot for someone like Aussie Open to come in opposite, Ospreay. But yeah, really good match. Trent, for everything we just said about we don't think it's a pay-per-view match, I truly believe Trent is one of the most underrated wrestlers in the whole world. I think he's so good, and he never gets listed, even by people like you and I. We just did it. Like, no one ever cites him. He's that good. So the match was really strong. Rampage had 3 good matches. The main event probably being the strongest. Before we take this thing home, Jay, let's talk next week a little bit. Road Rager. Interesting card for Road Rage. Let's talk about it. Let's get to your guy Wardlow. A 20-on-1 handicap match. You fired up for this?
I think this is hilarious. I love this shit, man. Yeah, that's good. That's gonna be entertaining. It's entertaining because Mark Sterling's he's a really good entertainer.
He is,
and I like that. Yeah, they brought Stoke in and they did the right thing with Stoke, but they're not completely pushing Mark to the wayside, which I was worried about.
Yeah. Is it fair? Hopefully, I'm back. Am I back now, Jack?
Yeah,
I froze for you then.
I can hear you.
Is it fair to say that if we're going to do this Wardlow TNT title thing, which we all think they are, this not wait too long, right? Let's pull the Band-Aid off and get to it.
Yeah,
point,
I think, which is going to leave a bad taste in people's mouths because it's going to be another short Scorpio run.
Yeah, but
which sucks. But I mean, you got to do what you got to do.
Unfortunately, at this point, the damage is done, and I mean that with love to Scorp, but it is what it is. It's not on him. It's just like it's. At this point, man, you got to move on.
They
Like,
screwed
it's
up.
just,
They,
you know,
they screwed up, and he was collateral damage.
he was.
They screwed up.
I'm not sure it'll ever go back to him because there's just so many guys in line. So he's a victim in that regard. But it is what it is. Wardlow, are you any concern at all about Wardlow in a post MJF situation? He has done fine. He cut a good promo, but I do think there are already signs. And let me get stressed, folks. He's doing fine. But we talked about it. What do you do with him after? I'm intrigued how this next few months goes, Jake. It's a very important
It's
few
going to be
months for
telling.
Wardlow.
I can't predict one way or another. That's up to the
Mhm.
fans. Like, I love Wardlow,
Yep.
but I love Wardlow. I told you credited me not too long ago, but I told you about Wardlow how long ago? I said,
At the start of the distraction.
I said, this guy's it. This guy is it, and it's going to happen. It happened.
Yeah.
But not everybody's like me. Were people invested in Wardlow, or were people invested with Wardlow beating the shit out of MJF? It's the Roddy Piper Hulk Hogan WrestleMania 1 argument all over again. Did Hulk Hogan drive WrestleMania, or did people want to see Hulk Hogan beat the shit out of Roddy Piper, draw the first WrestleMania?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly right.
You know what I mean?
My hope is it's both, and that Wardlow. I mean, Wardlow's getting a good reaction. I just think it'll be really interesting. I don't want to give like a take on it because he's done 2 weeks and they've gone fine. It isn't as red hot as it was before, but how could it be? That isn't like a slight on anyone.
I agree.
It will just be challenging. The one thing I will say is, I wish he'd have just said on Wednesday, I want the TNT title rather than I want to beat Punk for the, like that didn't make sense to me because it's just
but
like,
but it didn't make sense. But it popped me because all I heard as the translation was, yeah, man, fucking earn titles.
Oh, I know, but that's how your brain had to make it work.
Yes, that's my man. That's what he doesn't want this bullshit. Fuck out of here.
I think it would have been fine if he just said, I want the TNT title first,
Yeah, he could have just ignored the whole. Just ignore it and say you want the TNT title.
That was my turn, but hopefully everything works out. So that's Wardlow. Okay, Miro and Ethan we kind of talked about. Ethan cut a great promo on Rampage. We want to show some love too. Ethan Page, you and I have been high on him for the longest.
There's a spot for him. There's a
There
spot for him soon. A top spot. Year.
Hopefully.
Might take 2. It's coming.
I hope so. Very, very versatile and very solid. So he cut a tremendous promo. He's not going to be beating Miro, nor should he, but hopefully the match is good. You mentioned it earlier, the ladder match. You said, maybe I might be right about the Hardys. Is that your prediction? Hardy's going to take the tag titles on Wednesday?
No, I'm going to switch it because then that's why I love having these discussions. Because you're right. I think the Bucks will take it. I think it's a good. It all ties into each other. The Hardys got the 1-on-1, 2-on-2. The tag team match win on the big pay-per-view. The Bucks, however, are going to take the tag team titles, and then Bucks FTR 3. Yeah, Bucks. I'll say Bucks.
Chat, I'm intrigued because I've been kind of thinking about this. If the Hardys win, who would be the kind of presumed next champions? Like, are there heels that are waiting to go? Because that's what I was trying to figure out. Like, we agree that if the Bucks win, FTR's up next, right? But like, who's the heels?
Scorpio and Ethan.
Yeah, maybe. That'd be interesting as like a make good.
Is there Scorpio and Ethan?
I think within that you can kind of find the right answer, right? It feels like it should be FTR taking it from the Bucks. I think that's the way.
That's the way. That's what I think. I think this will perfectly set up, and just think like that when you do this match. Well, when's the next paper? All Out, right?
Yeah.
September. I mean, you could do it because then you just do like imagine, Ring of Honor, IWGP, AAA, AEW tag team shit on the Bucks FTR for everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean,
let's go through some of these options. Team Taz an interesting one because last week's Rampage, they kind of framed them as being like a full-time team, which was interesting.
So you could, Oh, they did. Wait,
yeah.
The last time, when Starks and Hobbs, they were really, really pushing how they've been performing in the tag team division. And there's another option. Again, assuming the Hardys win.
Red Dragon, I think, would be a strange choice because it feels like you're kind of getting Kyle moves as singles. So I don't know about that one. House of Black. Maybe. I could see it most if if Malachi takes the All Atlantic, maybe Buddy and Brody are the tag champs. You do something with that, and they will have some gold, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. I don't know. Someone says Gun Club. That seems spiteful. Sanjay and Singh. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to take the Bucks. I hope the Bucks, to be honest with you. Ortiz and Chris Jericho. Who's leaving Wednesday night bald? Jack Crosby. Who's it going to be?
Probably. Oh, probably Chris.
Chris Bald?
I think he's going to do it.
I love that this is a thing. Like, we all think there's a chance he's going to do this, right? It's incredible.
I think he's going to do it. I think, like, you know, Jericho is about creating these moments. And look, he hears all the jokes about his hair.
Yeah.
It's shit like that. Like, you can see, obviously, like, now when he starts going in these matches, you can see the bald spots and shit like that. And people are starting to, he's, if there's one thing about Chris Jericho when it comes to his wrestling, I won't say, not personally, so please listen to me when I say this. When it comes to his wrestling, he's very self-aware.
He is, yes.
And so I could see him doing it. I see him doing it. And he likes Ortiz. He probably wants to do something for Ortiz because he loves that dude. So
yeah,
I can see Chris shaving the head.
It does feel intriguing that this stipulation appeared after the pay-per-view match where, bless him, Chris's hair was very much exposed. It was quite the scene at Double or Nothing, and this coming after is interesting. I just can't take myself to pick it, man. It's the fact he's wrestling Ortiz too. Like, it just
look, man. Remember, even Metallica cut their hair. So if people want to bring up, what's it going to do as Fozzie's lead? Hey, remember, Metallica cut their hair, man. James Hetfield
I'll pick Jericho, but I think it says a lot about Jericho that we all think there's a real chance he's going to get shaved bald by fucking Ortiz.
It does, doesn't it?
Which is peak Jericho. Big match for Ortiz. I've kind of said this elsewhere. I'm not a scoopster. I'm not a reporter. I don't know what's up with Santana. He's been absent from TV the last couple of weeks, right? He hasn't been like on screen. He may be backstage. I don't know. I do think there's a real chance he's looking to explore a singles run elsewhere. If so, and if Ortiz is about to be a singles wrestler, this is a huge match for him because this is as big as it's got for his whole career as a singles. And if this is going to be his future, it needs this one to hit. So it'll be interesting. I'm happy for the dude he's getting this shot. And obviously, you know, the hair stip adds some intrigue too. Okay. Final thing. Do we expect any New Japan crossovers on Wednesday?
Yeah, there has to be. I think that's going to be a weekly thing.
Yeah.
Up until, I think it's going to be. Dominion's over, so they just all, who though? Who have we? I mean, Okada's got to be one of them. It's just when.
Feels like it's time to. Could you do like one of those double segments where you do like Jay White and then Okada's music hits, and you do like one of those deals of like you kind of double dip? You know, that'd be something, right? That'd
be pretty cool, I think.
Yeah, but that'd be interesting.
Naito is another one.
Naito's a good one, yeah. Let's be honest, Jack. It needs to be a big one because we're under 2 weeks away this coming Wednesday. So, you know, like I agree with this. I think Bullet Club, they could do a Jay White thing where it's all of Bullet Club and Gallows and Anderson get themselves back on there, which would be incredible. We'll see. I don't know. It'll be interesting. All right. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Folks, I hope you've enjoyed this. This is going to be a new thing we do on Sundays. I'll not be able to do next week because I'm on vacation. Do not talk to me about professional wrestling when I'm on vacation, unless you're Jack Crosby, in which case you can text me anytime with a link of some kind that will pop me. But any final thoughts on AEW's week that was and the week ahead, Jack? Any kind of final sweeping thoughts on?
No, I'm really excited that now that Dominion's over, we can really start to go full force into what's for this Forbidden Door card because I'm looking forward to it. I am. Yeah. Like I said before, it's funny. Like I'm looking forward to it, but I want it over at the. I don't know. It's weird, but I'm gonna try my best to live in the present. And say I'm looking forward to this show. I think it's gonna be a really good show, and yeah, like you said, I think there's got to be some big surprise this week.
Yeah, I tend to agree. Hopefully the ladder match is good. Hopefully the Hardys get out of there unscathed as relatively as they can. Hopefully it's another good week of TV. If it's not, I'll simply choose topics that I want to talk about next week, which is much more fun than doing segment by segment reviews and being told that actually the show ruled. So with that in mind, I hope you've enjoyed Fleet Week. I'm going to be doing a Wrestle Purists podcast here shortly. Stay locked in on Twitter and I'll tell you when that is. Tomorrow, at some time tomorrow, I do not yet know when, but at some point tomorrow, I'll be doing a full Dominion review. where Jay White had one of the great performances of his career yet. So hopefully you'll be back for that. Again, I'll keep you updated on the time when it comes, but much ahead. A couple more days from away here, and we're going to try and pack this in and have fun. So we appreciate you guys. But you've enjoyed this. Thanks as always, Jack, for hopping on in impromptu fashion.
Yeah, I saw you shoot out a link, and I was like, "Wait a minute! I'm sitting here at my desk like this. I'm like, hey, you know what? Nah, let me jump on here."
You thought this did give Joe some credit about the Hardys being tag champs. I'm sure he'll be delighted about that. All right, folks. Back tomorrow. Back tonight with Furious, and then back on here tomorrow with Dominion. We appreciate you guys. Hope you enjoyed this. And in the meantime, enjoy this outro. Wow.